Hello, welcome to my drawing room. It is 37 minutes past midnight. Um, it's the 2nd of July, and I haven't really been reading a lot like, I haven't read a lot of books in June, so I kind of want to really get back into it. And what better way to do that than by forcing myself to read a lot of books? Okay. So this is my July TBR, or to be read. Um, I just call it the TBR. There are 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 books on my July TBR. So basically, I am doing 2 things. There are 2 books that I really want to read this month, so I'm gonna be reading those. And then there are 5 books which are a part of a readathon that I'm participating in. So one of my close friends on Bookstagram redirected me to this particular readathon that they're doing. It's called the Olympic Games readathon, and I sort of scrambled together a TBR very last minute, on the first actually. Um, so I will link all of the details of that TBR in the description box, of that readathon in the description box, so that if you're interested, you can check it out. It's like Percy Jackson themed, and Percy Jackson is something that I really love. So even though the books themselves are not supposedly, they're prompts, so you don't have to pick Percy Jackson books or books by Rick Riordan. But I've thrown some in there just so that I can get out of this mini slump that I've been having for the past couple of weeks, and I hope that by making myself read all of these books, I can once again get out of the slump. So I'm gonna go through the books that I have right here. So I guess I'll start with the books that I wanted to read, like, for my own TBR, or like as per my own schedule. So the first book I've got here is Night Circus. I have never read this book before. The people who love this book really love this book, so I'm curious. I've never really read a book that's set in a circus before, which is, I don't know, it's gonna be interesting. It opens up like so many avenues for characters, or the kinds of characters that I haven't personally read before, and that's pretty exciting. So yeah, so let me show you the book. It's incredible. I love this. It's so pretty, it's so gorgeous. I'm sure that this clock striking 12 or midnight also has some, I mean, obviously it's gonna have some relevance, but yeah, I really like it. And then the end papers of this book are also lovely, and I can't wait to find out why these particular hats are red and the others are not. This book, wait, I'll show you. The next book that I want to read this month is another classic. It's Little Women. I have not read Little Women before, and I hope I change that this month. So this edition that you see, this like pretty gold foil edition with ooh, look at those papers, and it has illustrations as well. It's sort of illustrated, like there are a few like limited but gorgeous illustrations inside this book. Yeah. So this and this, both of these books were part of a subscription box, a book subscription box that I had subscribed to, and I have not posted the unboxing so far. I believe it might change by the time I post this video. It probably will not. So yeah, I received them as a part of a subscription box, and I really want to read them because I keep receiving books from the subscription box, so I gotta read them. So yeah, these guys are on my TV. I mean, look at this edition of Little Women. How can you receive this and then not want to immediately start reading it, right? Then now I'm gonna talk about the TBR that I've decided upon for the Olympic Games Readathon. So you're supposed to you've got 9 gods, the Greek gods, and each god has 5 prompts. And there are also a bunch of advanced prompts, but I'm not really aiming for those right now. I'm trying to get out of my slump. So I chose Athena as my godly parent because from the books and the unread books that I had, I feel these were the prompts that I could more or less fulfill. So the first prompt for Athena was a book featuring a school. So I'm gonna read A Deadly Education. I've had it since last year. I think since November of last year, either October or November of last year, and I haven't read it so far, and I really want to change that. And one of the characters in this book actually shares a name with someone I know, and I kind of want to read it just so that I can say, hey, I read that book with that character with the same name as you. It's not a big reason to want to read it, but I just want to read it. Okay, so, yeah. So we've got The Deadly Education. It will be interesting to go back to a magical school, so looking forward to that. Then there was this prompt to read a middle grade book. So for that I chose Magnus Chase and the Sword of Summer. So this is another book by Rick Riordan. It's part of the Riordan verse. I am really sorry, there are a lot of words that I read a lot but never say out loud. So I probably don't say them right. Anyway, so Magnus Chase is one of the cousins of Annabeth Chase, who's one of the main characters in Percy Jackson universe. And I've read this entire trilogy before, but I was sort of missing these characters. I've been missing them for a while before I discovered this readathon, and when I saw that prompt, read a middle grade book, I was like, I'm gonna read this. And the third prompt, I might mix it up a little bit because I don't really remember them, and again, it's 1:45. So the next prompt was I have to read a book where the characters go on a quest. Yeah, and well, all of these Riordan-verse books, these characters are always going on quests. So I picked up Magnus Chase and the Hammer of Thor. I remember this one. I think they have to go and retrieve the Hammer of Thor, if I remember correctly. And Thor is not Chris Hemsworth in these books, and tragically, Loki is not Tom Hiddleston. This guy, I named him Tom Hiddleston at one point. Just totally irrelevant. He's just here. He's just chilling. Anyway. So yeah. I'm gonna read this for that prompt. And finally for this trilogy, there's another prompt in this readathon, that is, read a book by your favorite author. And if we're not talking about the authors that I've very recently discovered, Rick Riordan is probably he's been my favorite author since I was a kid. So here we are, and we've got the final book in this trilogy. I managed to squeeze it in here, and these are the books that I'm probably gonna reread first, just so I can get out of my slump and then start reading the other books that I want to read. So yeah, we've got Magnus Chase and the Ship of the Dead. I don't really remember much about this. I don't. So these are these books, and then the final prompt in this readathon is to read a grey book, because the children of Athena and Percy Jackson have startling grey eyes. And the thing is, for this prompt, I will be reading Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Priyanshi, this book does not look great. I know this book's not great, but the thing is, this is the complete trilogy of 5. So these are 5 books altogether. And if you actually look up Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the particular edition that is available where I am right now is a grey book. And if it was an e-book, I doubt that it physically counts this as a not grey book. So since I'm gonna only be reading the first book, because let's be real, this looks daunting. So I think this counts as a grey book. If in case it doesn't, my backup is to go for Lore, which is a book by Alexandra Bracken. If this does not count as my grey book, I'm gonna go for Lore, which is a book that I haven't received yet, but I will as part of a subscription box. So see, even with that book, it's a little bit of a gray area, because that book is like white and it's sort of a ombre effect, and then it turns to gray. So I was initially conflicted between Lore and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but I've had Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy on my TBR for a while now, and I really just want to get to it, because then I feel guilty about getting these books and not reading them. So yeah, so I think it's time to read this. I am gonna try to post like short little reviews / updates of these books to just in case anyone's curious, and also to keep myself, what's the word, on track. It's not the word I'm looking for, but we're gonna have to make do. It's really late, and I have a pile of about 30 books on my bed that I need to put away before I sleep, and I really want to sleep. So I'll see y'all next time. Whenever you wanna wander back and watch whatever you want. Alright, bye.